All right. So we have My Adventures with Superman. I watched the first two episodes, and right off the bat, there's definitely some changes, but I don't think they're bad. So, for example, Jimmy and Perry are now both black, and I know they've been pushing those two to be black in more modern Superman times. Um, but there is some changes, and you can see it with the tech and stuff like that. So definitely feels like an alternate universe, even how his look is and stuff like that. And I do apologize, I might be hopping around a little bit, but this is like me pure, like right just from done watching and my thoughts. Um, I do have to admit, with the swaps and everything, especially because it's modernized, because they do show him as a kid, and one of the things you do see somebody with a cell phone mount. So it's definitely, I think it takes place further than even where we're at currently. I think he was a kid during our time. There's little pieces of tech that tells the difference. Like Perry has a computer, but it's just a screen. There's no like, body physical thing. It's like it's almost like it's a heart like construct or that clear screen like Tony Stark's phone. Um, but overall, these changes that they did actually do feel organic. I am not a fan of race swapping. I think it's actually a very lazy way to do storytelling instead of grabbing characters that already exist and bring them in and make them fit the narrative, or making new characters. And I feel like that across the board with most things. Even if it's LGBTQ, any of those. I want them to find the character that already exists that has it. And trust me, any character that you think of, they're out there. I did like that the way they did Jimmy Olsen. He's into like conspiracy theories and cryptids and things like that. I actually thought that was a good flair for his character. It actually adds a easy, good avenue to his character being a certain type of way. So I actually thought that was a really good update to his character. Um, Now, for the elephant in the room that a bunch of people are complaining about online that I saw before I did this video, well, after, by the time this goes up, I've seen it popping up and I've seen it a little bit more. So I'm expecting this because I've already seen people's comments. The Henshin transformation where they go, it's all Sailor Moon. No, it's a Henshin. Do the Power Rangers do Sailor Moon too? Do all of them? Yes. It is a trope that is cool. And people are going, it's bad. First off, there's actually a story plot to why his suit does that. Number one. Number two, I'm like, unless you're seeing sparkly skin, like if you watch Teen Titans versus Justice League, for example, they all have a Henshin transformation thing. But Starfire does a full like Sailor Moon thing. And it's funny because people are like, why do we keep seeing Sailor Moon stuff? And I was like, when does Sailor Moon not be cool? It's a transformation. It's a iconic sequence. It's the same thing as if you see someone do a Power Ranger sequence and something. It's called Henshin. It's a Japanese inspired thing. So I don't understand it. I thought it looked cool, especially with the story plot and how it like manifested. I thought that was fine, especially if it's like a one-off thing. Even if it's not, I thought it was cool to see that it was something different, and also Supergirl did it too. So where her thing when the nano suit, so I don't understand. But like I said, there's a story context to it, so it makes even less. So taking it out of context, I think you're reaching. And I've seen some people who have not even sniffed an episode go, this looks stupid, it's garbage. And I'm like, did you watch the episode? Check it out, see what it was about. But, I digress, because I could stay on that for a while. Instead of the Newsboy Legion, they made some changes. Like I said, Flip Johnson, or no, I don't know if I mentioned Flip. So Flip Johnson, for example, is now a girl. And that was a little different. And they also had like a little reference to Guardian, because the Newsboys Legion also has a thing to Guardians. If I remember correctly, it's James Harper got switched to Roberta Harper. If I remember correctly, there's Big Words, aka Famous Bobby. I'm probably saying, like I said, I'm kind of coming off the cuff. I know there's a Famous Bobby. Oh wait, no. Roberta Harper is the Famous Bobby. Then there's Big Words, and Roberta Harper is, or Famous Bobby is the one connected to James Harper, who happens to be Guardian. There's Wader Johnson. There's Gabby, which is John Gabrielle, but everyone called her Gabby. There's Scrapper. And then Walter Johnson, I think, was the one that was originally Flip. So they kind of, changed it up a little bit, switched it up. Forgive me if I'm misremembering, but I think I was on point. I'm doing this off the cuff. I probably got one of the names wrong or something. Newsboy Legion is definitely deep cut into Superman, but it looks like they updated the group. The girl actually fit this row, and how Lois and her interacted, it actually fit. I felt it felt natural. They mixed it up a little. They introduced them. I like the fact that they did that. That's classic. But the update it felt like, yeah, I can understand where a lot of the changes they made. I actually could see why they did that. And that's the thing. I can at least let something pass if I could see why you did it. It was funny because Superman does fight these mechs and they look like Evangelions. Or from Evangelion. I don't really care for that series, so I don't care. So if anyone goes, oh, it's supposed to be called this, I think they're called Angels. I don't care. I don't like that series. The only one I even remotely have any concept of liking is the Shin one. And that's because it's part of the Shin universe. But anywho, I really like the animation. I like the way his powers work. The fights are very good. I like the Superman's power level. It's like he's starting to learn it. And he's growing, and it gives him room to grow, to be that guy. His powers remind me a lot of John's powers from the comics recently. And the look and how they're activated definitely reminds me of that. Look on the screen, you'll probably see it, because I'll probably remember to do it. Definitely has a shonen feel, but I think that's a good thing, because right now manga and anime and stuff are kind of where you get the good stories, because they're too busy telling a good story instead of trying to tell you how you're terrible or preach to you in the most in your face, on the nose smack you face possible, instead of telling a story first and then getting you the messaging second or third. So I think that was a good direction. I like the characterization. Also, too, because some people are like, oh, they changed it from his mom, even though they've changed it multiple times, even in the New 52, his mom didn't sew that suit. But what they did in this one, they kind of combined it. Like, the suit starts off one way. She actually adds a couple of aesthetics, so it still has that wholesomeness that his mom made his suit, or at least made parts of his suit. So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, I thought it was really cool that they kept I like the New 52 suit. I know people feel they're different ways. I don't care. I like the New 52 suit. My favorite is the Rebirth suit. It reminded me of the New 52 suit, but they modernized a couple things. I apologize if you're the fan. Very hot. But I liked what they did, and I like that she added aesthetics. You can see it. Like, she added a few accentuation things to make it stand out. I also think it was really cool that they had a different origin story to Livewire and how she worked, as well as Slade, which I was able to figure out it was Slade just by how they did the look. I was like, I think that's Slade. And I thought this introduction was a really cool way to do it. And it seems like they're going with different villains and not just go straight to Lex Luthor, which they shouldn't. And it looks like, from what I could tell, I personally think it's Ivo, just from looking at everything. And overall, I think it was cool. I like how his powers work. I like where the story's going. I like the fact that they all started basically together. Like, Jimmy and Clark actually started the Daily Planet together, and Lois is not like some hotshot reporter. She's just the more experienced intern. I think she's been there for like a year. So I think that's just really good because it builds them up. And I also like the fact that Clark and Lois, they didn't do the will they, won't they. It's more of a will they, won't they, because you can definitely tell there's an instant attraction between them. Sometimes they do a thing where Lois has to end up figuring out that she likes him. And I like the fact that this time around it's more of they just like each other. They're really attracted to each other. But they have to approach it a certain way. And I like that they play with how much Clark eats and all that stuff. And it definitely had a lot of shonen feel in all the right ways. So, lastly, for all the people that whined about Man of Steel because him fighting off people with his powers and an entire army, and he's doing this by himself, and he had to stop the World Engine, but, you know, he should have saved a kitten from a tree instead of stopping the bigger threats. But, you know, they know best. Whatever. I still think it's dumb. I understand why there was destruction because literally fighting those, it was Super Saiyan level fighting. Get over it. You're wrong. That's how I feel. My channel. Boom. Anyway, but for all the people complaining, he, even though he normally doesn't do this, and even in the comic books, he fixed up everything that got messed up. So people could not cry about that. And I think that was a good thing because people complain about every little thing if Superman doesn't do everything perfect on day one, apparently. So overall, I think it was really good. I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to try to remember to review the entire season. I'm going to try to remember, but, you know, busyness, sometimes things slip my mind. Right now, I am having a really good time with it. So this isn't really a rating. This is more of just talking about it. So far, it's on that good time, should buy kind of thing. Geek Protagonist, you stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. And I'll see you.